Okay then everybody, welcome to another Leicester Lives podcast in association with our sponsor, Igloo Staffing Solutions. As always, if you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and please do subscribe. Now, with me today, I think we can safely say we have another Leicester legend in the studio, King of the Doormen, one of the King of Leicester, Johnny Strong. John, thanks very much for coming along today, being a guest on the Leicester Lives podcast.
Okay, thank you.
John, you know how it works. I like to roll it all the way back to the start.
Yeah.
Tell me about your early life and growing up in Leicester.
Well, I was born in Ash Street, off the Belgrave Road. Yeah. Anyway, we moved. Only 3 months, and moved up to Braunston. My mum and dad had a council house. Me and my sister Sharon, and. What school did I go? I went. The first school I went was Imperial Avenue, and it was only 5. Me, our Paul. I call him our Paul because he ended up marrying my sister, and they were together all their lives till he died 3 years ago. He killed us, that did. But there you go. So he had asbestosis because he was a plumber, and it's bad in them days, wasn't it? And they don't get you for till 50 years later. And there was me, Paul, Takatasi, Pat Crowley, Irish family, and we all went Imperial Avenue. And one of the most startling thing I've thought about Imperial, when I remember back to it, we used to get, in the afternoon, we'd be naked, they'd strip you naked, and then you'd run down the grass. And at the bottom, it's still there now, there's a willow tree, and you'd run round the willow tree and then run back and then get in a teddy outfit, like a flaring zip thing. You'd all get in, and then they had a bunk bed, well, more like an hammock, and everybody went to sleep. That's how it was. But you imagine that now? All them Jimmy Saviles and Gary Glitters out there. You wouldn't be able to do it, would you?
Yeah, different times, Johnny, different times.
You know what I mean? Naked, 5 years of age. Yeah. But it didn't mean no to us. And then from there I went to Braunston Hall, which is now Winstanley pub and restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
But went to Braunston Hall. And then from there I went to Ellesmere. And that was a boys' school at the time, and that was like Regan said in his one. You got caned for anything. You know. The headmaster was Archibald Orton, always remember. And when you got sent to him, he didn't give less. The ordinary teachers gave you a cane on the fingers. They get the tips of your fingers and line your hand up, and they'd put the little 2-foot bit of willow under your hand, go on, and then go right on your fingers so they'd all go blue. But like Archibald, when you got sent to Archibald, he gave you 6 of the best, but you had to take your pants down, which you won't be able to do nowadays, would you? And stand on your feet. You had to put your feet on your fingers, so your arts were dead tight. Then he gave you 6 of the best. And then we'd go out, and we'd go in the toilets, fill the bowl of cold water, put your pants and sit in the water, and everybody come in just have a pee. And, oh, you mean Archibald got you then? Yeah. And you daren't say anything when you got home, because if you did, the old man would fill you in for getting the cane. So you just put up with it.
Yeah. I was talking to someone about this recently, John, and it was very much a case of like, if you got caned and you went home and you told your parents, like you said, you're in trouble again because you've not followed. Whereas now, if you went home and said, a teacher struck me or hit me or what, there'd be whatever, So
I think I don't think I've not a problem with it. I think you need discipline. It's a bit like the army and the navy, isn't it? You've got to have discipline. There isn't any now, and they're too quick to, I don't know, throw the racial card in, and like it's a load of bollocks, because one of my best friends to this day is Dixie. He was the first black kid to come into the town, and he rings me up regularly, and we're well pals. Same as Black Maggie. She's called Black Maggie now, and if you say anything in front of somebody like, Black Maggie, and they go, oh, black, why are you saying black? I went, well, that's what she's known as, because in 1957 she come. Dixie's dad was a black Yank, obviously gone with a Leicester girl, you know, so that's how he come about, and he went, and he's still here, and he's like one of the lads, always has been. And Black Maggie, she actually was in sort of the women's side of the baby squad. She wore black boots, and she actually made a song, you know, Dewey, I don't know, you'd have to check on it, but she made this song, this guy sang it, and it actually got in the hit parade at the time. And her and Thelma, a mate, they used to go around and sing in pubs and things. And like, she's one of my best friends now. She's just had an operation actually on her heart, God bless her. You know what I mean?
So would you say growing up you enjoyed your childhood, John? Was it something you look back on with good memory?
School. We get the probation officer to come round, tell me mum hadn't been in school, so my dad would give me a good hiding. But you knew it was coming. You just accepted it.
Yeah.
Didn't make no difference. You know, and then our side of Braunston, we called it the posh side, the West End Workingmen's Club. Oh, I've got a story about a West End Workingmen's Club. Come back on me on that one. But, yeah, we were the posh side, and the Dodge City, we called it the other side. I mean, we had a battle one day. So I'd been watching my films, and they'd been shooting the arrows and all that. So we all had bow and arrows with dart points on the end, and we split up. And when the Dodge side come up, we shot me, Pat Crowley, Tacker, and Pugsy Baines, my brother-in-law, in the air, and it rained arrows and come down the road going off with these. And we won anyway. But that didn't go down well. But that's what you did in them days.
Yeah. What sort of relationship did you have with your parents, John? Were they strict?
How can I say? They used to say to me, "Where do you get your scrapping from? Your dad?" And I went, "No, I ain't never seen my dad have one fight in his life." So, well, where'd you get it from then? I said, "My mum." He said, "Your mum?" I went, "Yeah." I said, "My mum, she was a floor lady. So in them days, when you're a floor lady, you're in charge of about 40 people. At Colville Way, she had, and he loved her, but she kept the place in order. I mean, me and my sister, I always remember, me and my sister come home one night, and next door neighbour, Mrs. Edwards, there was our house was a bit up and it was down, there was an edge. And me and my sister were coming out, and we seen Mrs. Edwards go right over the edge. And I went, fucking hell, what's happened there then? Sharon went, it's Mrs. Edwards. And I went, I know, it's just, that edge is 5 foot. She went, it's mother. I bet she's been chatting Dad up again. I went, all right. And here's another story. So anyway, we all used to go to the West End Workingmen's Club. Everybody went there because it were a good night. There were a group on it. She'd know my sister, I can't think what they're called. The lead singer had white winkle pickers. Remember when the winkle pickers come out? He had that, and he had rows of tables, and Sunday dinner, everybody would be sitting around all that, and there were a woman in there known for all the men and all the more older men, not as youths, because we were all 18, but she was called Fagash Lil. So my mum comes one Sunday dinner, we're late, she comes up marching in, and I'm with Takatasi, Pat Crowley and all the gang and our Paul, we're all at the bar, and she come up to me and she went, "Where's your dad?" I went, "Don't know." She went, "I said, where's your dad?" So I grasped him up straight away. I went, "No." I pointed down one of the big row of seats, and there he is, and he's like, "Hey," because he was a good-looking fella, ex-Navy, HMS Vivacious, you know what I mean? It's another bit of a story. He had a breakdown when he come out. I mean, they call it what do they call it now?
Oh, PTSD, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but in them days it was a nervous breakdown. But my mum used to say he'd go work and then the door would be knocked and he'd be standing at the door crying. But we didn't know what it was in them days, did we? And my dad were on the vivacious, and when they cleared the deck, he was still on the pom-poms. And he was on his own, and it was, when the aircraft's coming, oh, that made me go cold. Aye, spitting the thing.
Yeah.
No wonder he had...
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Fagash Lil. So Fagash is bending over and she's going, like that, and my dad's going, look, you know, like that. And we're all going, oh, yeah, fuck, he's in trouble now. And she come marching down. And she tapped Fagash on the back. And Fagash ends the fag. You never seen her without a fag in the mouth. She went like, and she turned around and smiled, and my mum went, and she went, dropped, and I went, oh, I says, get ready. I went, what? I went, the old man's getting one. And that was that little story.
Yeah.
So we every Wednesday we went in there, we played skittles in the back room. We all joined in 1969, back in the day, and the old skittles was all the time, wasn't it? And they had the groups on and all that. I can't believe I can't think of the name of the group. The drummer always played the drums with his eyes shut. They're ever so good. We loved it. Yeah.
So were you just drinking sort of locally at the time, John, or were you going in town? Or
No. Then in them days, when we were 18, 19, we were sort of, 18. We drank local. We always went there Wednesday because it's near home and, you know what I mean, all that. Then I started going in the town, and I'm a bit of an hero worshipper. I knew the toughest one, Lammy, Lee Hadfield's dad, gypsy kid. But could he when he had a fight, his head were a blur. He'd run up him, because he was only about my size, but he'd run up and go bang, 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 bang. The nut, he never punched, it was the nut, but they all went.
Yeah.
Dish, dish, dish. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was, and that's when I first met Big Eric Bean. I'll say Big Eric Bean because his son, when Eric sort of died, or just before he died, he come and worked for me on the doors. Because he got a good reputation around Saffron Lane and all that area, as Monsoul, so I knew with the dad and all that. But I always remember an incident with his dad. His dad had a few clubs in his time in Leicester, and one of them was Les Ambassadors. All the old ones would know it. And the Krays pulled up one day, and I happened to be there because I always used to go and have a chat with Eric because I just wanted to be his pal, you know what I mean? Yeah, as you do when you're young, you know what I mean? And I looked and I thought, fucking hell, 2 Krays in the back. I ain't moving from here. Eric weren't nowhere to be seen, Big Eric. And then what happened? The minder, there was a driver, 2 Krays and the minder. And the minder, when he went, go and get this beaten guy, fucking cunt. Go and tell this cunt we want to fucking talk to him.
I would just like to say a massive thank you to everybody who watches and supports this podcast, and in particular to our sponsors. Our main sponsor, Igloo Staffing Solutions, and our IT sponsor, Whiteski Digital. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this podcast, hit like, leave a comment, and do not forget to subscribe. Now let's crack on with the content.
Before they done the pour on the motorway, on the M1, you know the columns?
Yeah.
They were sticking it, they had somebody bent, they were sticking them in there, then they put the pour in the morning, the concrete. So how many bodies are in them concrete pylons, God knows.
Yeah.
But that was common knowledge.
Yeah.
And nobody's seen it happening, but that was the talk.
Yeah. So were your little group getting a bit of a reputation yourselves then, with knocking around with the older guys?
Yeah, it kind of, how can I say, you just got known, don't you? So, and the more like, Lammy become a pal of mine. We never clashed, we never fought, because I was younger, 10, 15 years younger than him. But he'd watch me fight and smile. And he always used to grab a granny night at the Palais on a Wednesday, and he'd dance with my sister. My sister, because he couldn't have jive. Oh, he were a proper jiver. You know, he could rock and roll, that man. Yeah, and we all got to know each other. We become very cliquey.
Yeah.
The first nightclub I ever went in was the Mayfair next to the station.
Right.
Can you remember?
Station up there?
Yeah, the London Road station. Yeah. There were a club just before it were called the Mayfair.
Sort of where the parcel yard is sort of now, around that sort of end?
It was literally, instead of, you had to go by it to go in the entrance to the station.
Right.
And it was called the Mayfair. It was where the Everton supporter got shot.
Right, okay,
Can you remember?
Yeah. I remember this, I heard about the incident, yeah.
Yeah, well, me and Big Ernie was with Jez Ordy, Frank Harford, and Jim Harford. Jim was notorious in his day. You'd have to be good to beat Jim. He could have a scrap. And Frank, his nickname was Foo-Foo. He's got a son now that's still about now, Ersty. We call him Ersty. But that's Frank's son.
Yep.
But they were an odd crew, and I always remember, I always remember it. I can see it now. They shut the doors. There were bottom doors, then there were top doors. And Frank and Jim stood at the door with Jez Order. He were a big lump. He could have a pop in his day. And there were Chris the Greek. That's who shot the man. But the Everton supporters said, we're coming in. And the lads went, you fucking ain't. And they stood there, they were ready. But Chris the Greek went like, and he went, move out the way. Move out the way. And he went, because don't forget it's the stairs. So he went, move out the way. And the lads moved out, and he got a shotgun. And he went, you not come in my club. And this one of these Everton supporters came running up the stair, and he went up in the air, and his ass went through the ceiling because it was on the slope. Yeah. Went through the ceiling, went down, then he went again. The other one, he went straight out, down into the curb, and we went back into the room. I went, fuck it, I ain't having nothing to do with it. And then we looked out the window, and he was in the gutter, and the blood was coming from his chest, and he was dying. And I always remember, because all the old bills swamped it, closed it down, we were all in there, we couldn't go nowhere. And Big Ernie, he's dead now, bless him, he was one of the gang. He went up and put the record on, and it was #1 at the time. You know what it was? Sonny and Cher. Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang. And we all went, fuck it. Jesus Christ, Ernie. And the inspector went fucking Fruit Loop, didn't he? You said, which, wrong, weren't it? But there you go, that was Ernie, having a bit of a laugh. But wasn't a laugh, was it, really? It's a dead person, but there you go.
So I suppose then, all of your lot are then becoming noticed by the police then, because you've got this massive incident, you know.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
So, are you working the doors now, John, or are you just...
No, still young there. I'm about 18. I lost my virginity to Linda Tansley, Irish family, and she had some really hard brothers. I were a bit risky. It was Tambo, he could have a pop in his day. Right to the end he could have a pop, he's dead now. And Nev, he looked like Burt Reynolds, he could get any bird under the sun. He looked just like Burt Reynolds. Really handsome kid, you know what I mean? Then there was Steve. Yeah, yeah.
So when do you start sort of becoming interested in actually working on the doors then, John? Because you're in town.
I was, then I went in the Navy.
Oh, right, yeah.
I went in the Navy, but I weren't in it long. I went to 2022 Prescott Street, down London, done my exams with Ernie, because we were both going to join, And then you had the medical the same day, and I remember because there was the doctor come, and he put his hands over your ears, and he said, "Repeat after me," and he said something, I can't remember the words. And Ernie he couldn't hear him, didn't reply. So I've moved to help him out, and I've gone, and I've tried, and he spotted me, and he went, "You get out the room." So he slung me out the room, and then he failed the hearing test. So he got failed, and I passed. So we've done the exams, and then I was sent to Liverpool, to the sailors' home, and I lived there for about 3 months. And we used to walk to the docks and go to the school, because in them days you had to learn knots and all different old-fashioned things. And then I thought, I said to the guy there, because he got quite friendly, one of the teachers, I said, "How do I get more money?" And he went, "Lifeboat certificate, you get more than an ordinary AB." So I went, "Okay, able seaman." So I went, "Okay, I'll take that." And he went, "You'll have to go the Irish Sea." I says, "Well, send me." He says, "Okay." So then I said, "What else?" And he went, the Liverpool fire station. You got to go and stay there for a few days and learn how to put out the fires, because on board ship you get oil fires, so you can't do water, you got to do foam, and you have to learn the different, and how to aim it and low down, and it's more to it than you think.
Yeah.
So I learned all that, so I got more money out of that, and then as soon as I got all my things, somebody said to me, "Oh, there's a spot for you, because you've got all them different ones on the Elizabeth." So I went on the Queen Elizabeth and sailed the sea, but I didn't last long. I had a bit of an attitude in them days.
What attracted you to the Navy, John? Was it
Dad.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it your dad? Yeah.
I've never seen my dad show emotion to me, because he didn't, because I'm a fucking nuisance, really bad. I can understand it now, you know what I mean? And what he was going through, he didn't need me, did he? You know what I mean, having bother all the time. But that's what it was with my dad. And the emotion bit, he took me to this train station, London Road, and he waved, and as he waved, he went like, I seen him go. I thought, oh, that's the first time I've seen my dad cry for me.
Yeah.
Because I was mummy's boy, my dad was my sister, our Sharon was my dad.
Yeah.
He was with my sister, where me, the ultimate nuisance, you know what I mean? Terrible.
So, what made you leave the Navy then, John? Just the attitude, just the... just not the life for you?
There was a little officer, he was Scottish, and he picked on me all the while, every day. He was baiting me to hit him. And of course, he got his wish, didn't he? I hit him, and then he was knocked out on the floor, and everybody hated him, so they all pissed on him. So when he come round, he had me and stuck me in junkers, prison, that's prison on ship.
Yeah.
Stuck me in the junkers, and I went, hang on a minute, you were fucking drenched. I said, and I can't say he did it.
Yeah.
So I just had to take it on the chin, didn't I?
Yeah.
So and then they went, you got two choices, you jack in or you will be jacked in.
Yeah.
So I had to leave.
And back to Leicester then?
Yeah, back to Leicester, and then a mate of mine, everybody was self-employed in them days, because you got on better, more money. So I went with a kid to learn concreting, I'd done that. Then I got fed up with that, so easily fed up in them days. Then I went to another kid who had a glazing firm. I worked for him and learned how to, and in them days you run the putty up, like that, and then the knife had to go, so I learnt all that, done that. And then I went, before that, I missed that. Before that, I went to, my dad put me plumbing in Tythe Street, down Green Lane Road end. Chapels, it were called. And they done all the work for Jelson at the time. So I used to get all the asbestos guttering. I mean, I ain't got it because our Paul got it. So I ain't got it. But they say it's 50 years later, but I don't know. One flake and 50 years later, you're done.
Just be lucky or
But
unlucky.
we used to cut the guttering because it were all asbestos, the downrights. Oh, and then I used to lead flash the chimneys, and you got lead poisoning. We never washed his hands in them days. You'd get your sandwiches out with your mum made you, and you'd be eating your sandwiches. So it's just pot luck, I think.
So what sort of work did you settle down on in the end then, John? You're doing different things.
I don't know. I must. Is that mine? I must have done everything. You know, I went with a kid who done drains and got money, and I just let. Then I thought I met a bloke called Skip Smart, a bricklayer, and he was a dead sensible kid. And he said, "Come and work with me." So I did, and I admired him. He died a terrible death, dementia. I've never seen that man pick his hand up in anger to nobody. He did send me in a few times, but you know, on the building site, when the pinched a lorry load of bricks come in, it was all hand off in them days. There were no forklift. So the navvies, and as it come on the site, all the gangs would go, "It's mine, it's mine." So you'd have to have somebody who fronted them, and then if they trying to, you know, you took it, or they knew they were going to fight you.
Yeah.
So that's how you go on. But Skip was a big. He said to me, my Chad were coming along, and in them days, if you didn't get married, you had a bastard. So my mum says you got it was Dot from Braunston. I'd made her pregnant. She was a lovely girl. Fell in love with her completely. And Chad come along. And you got to ask me how I named him Chad, because we'd watched the Steve McQueen film, Bullet. And his son was called Chad McQueen. And I loved it, and I thought, I'm going to name my kid that. If it's a boy, I'm going to name him Chad.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah, it's a good name actually.
Yeah, and now all the Mumfords, some of the Mumfords got, well, one of the Mumfords has got his kid. He went, John, I'm going to name my kid. I said, lovely. And there's loads of Chads now in Leicester. And I said to Chad, that's all because of you. You know, when we come out watching that film, I had, what was it? A Vauxhall Ventura 3.3. It wasn't my first vehicle. I'll get back. Want me to get back to my first vehicle. So I had a Vauxhall Ventura, white one. We'd seen the film Bullet. We were in the Odeon car park. There was a fence all around it, and there were no concrete in them, it was gravel. So I gets in the front. Our Paul gets in the passenger side. Pat Crowley, Tacker, Ully Hurt, they were all in the back, and I went, and my exhaust were gone, and I went, and it was the same sound as Bullet when he was going over the hills. Remember the film when he was being chased? And I went, and I went, and then went like, and I put his feet up, and he went, fucking hell, no way. And I thought, I can't back out. And I went straight through the fence, knackered all my glass, my mirrors, the front wings and everything. And we were laughing like hell, and then drove up the road. The wings, we had to go out and bend the wings back.
Yeah.
And that was the story. And going back to my first vehicle was a GPO van. I bought it off one of Pat Crowley's mates, £17.50. Because my mum said it's time to leave. And Skip, getting back to Skip, he says, you need your own house. You know, now baby's coming along, you need your own house. So I says, yeah, but the lad's got a council house for a £5. He went, you're going to have your own house for £7.50. And he says, it'll be yours. I always remember that. So I took him, I said, I don't know how to do it. He went, leave everything to me. He done the solicitor, the paperwork, and he done everything for me. That's why I owed him so much. And when he died, I wrote his funeral, and I thought about all that. Yeah, I owed him so much because it made me pass on, because then I were a bad lad then, so then I were...
What sort of age are you now then, John?
What would it be? 22.
Yeah.
22.
Yeah. So you need that bit of guidance because you don't know about...
I struggled with reading and writing. I don't go to school. I hated it. All I did was fight. You know, that's the way it was at Bronston. You know, and everybody was the same, not just me. You know what I mean? Next door but 3 were Rorty Robert. I'll get back to that story. And he was in the Crazy Gang. That's how I come in the Crazy Gang. Through him, next door but 3. He's still there. Still there. Yeah, with Leslie. Child old sweethearts. Yeah.
So you're back in town now, I take it, you know, still mixing with the older fellas and still getting into a bit of trouble?
Yeah, and there was the Standard. I were in the Standard one night, and all the lads were in there, and it kicked off, because Friday night round Leicester, back in the day, they're all scrapping, weren't they? It kicked off, and somebody got the gaffer with the throat over the bar like that. I went, leave him alone, he can't fight. And he went, well, can you? So I knocked him out. So, you know what I mean? Then the gaffer loved me, didn't he? And then he were having do's with the groups, because a lot of groups in them days were going round the pubs. He had to do, and he says, do you mind doing the door? I went, what do you mean? He says, well, if folk kicks off, or take 50p, the old 50p, not the, you know, take 50p and go. And he went, we'll go off each. I thought, yeah, fucker, I'll do me. You know what I mean? So I did, and then from there, I met, because I was doing that, I met an old doorman called Ben Ogben, and he worked for Vince McKeefe. Vincent McKeefe was down London, and he got transferred to Leicester to the horse fair in those days. It was what is it? It was like an under manager, because in London they were a glass collector, then they promoted him, then brought him to Leicester, and because he was from Glasgow, from the Gorbals, you know, become a very good friend. I carried his coffin with the others. The footballers, what the Scottish guy who become captain of Leicester went to went to Celtic, didn't he?
Which one are we talking about?
I don't know. I can't think of his name. He was captain of Leicester City. It was after Weller. Because, I've got a story about Weller, but I'm not sure whether I should say that. Maybe not. So, anyway.
There's a few stories about Keith Weller, I think, like that, aren't there?
Oh. Yeah. We actually built his house at Oaten on the Hill, you know, with me and Skip. And, he was a proper ladies' man, weren't he? But anyway, I met this Ben Ogben, and he says, I've had a word with Vince about you. I says, what about? He says, do you want to come and work with us? I says, how much? He went, bloody blah. I went, yeah, fucker. That's good dough. He says, yeah, he pays good dough. He said, but he's dead strict. Because in them days, he only had, if you had white socks on, you couldn't get in. He'd look down and go, you ain't coming in. He's got his fucking socks on. And then he'd fuck off. I used to say, you can't come in, you got, what? He did it to, what was it? He got number 1, the black guy, Mac.
Oh, Mark Morrison.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was number 1, and he come marching up the street, and Vince stood there anyway. I said, that's that Mark Morrison. He went, I know. He says, I don't like the cunt. So I went, I said, he's a celebrity. I said, the girls all love him because he's number 1. I went, what's up with you? He went, are you listening to me? I went, okay. So, of course, he's gone down the stairs. He's come to the door. I says, he can't come anyway. Do you know who I am? I went, yeah. He went, get the gaffer. I said, That's who said you can't come in. He went, why? I went, I've not got a fucking foggish why. I said, I tried for you, trust me. I said, but he weren't having it, so I don't know what to say to you. But you can't come in. I said, also I'll lose my job. He went, fuck it, well, we'll be back, we'll be back. I went, well, whatever. And then Vince had a load of Hungarians. What a story of the Hungarians. I really got, there was Mishika, built like a fucking door. He used to bring a full-size 10-pound chicken for his supper, and he'd just eat it. I used to think, fucking hell, you know what I mean? Leg and a wing, and I'd have been full. There were Mishika, Gino, Dog, that's his nickname, Dog, Dave. Dave still does the collecting the rent up Highfields now. He's still alive. But Mishka, Gino drank himself to death, God bless him. He used to come up the club, we had a boxing club up the top of Secrets in the attic. Because Ramsey used to send his so-be hard men up there to see how good they were. Because Ramsey never stood on our toes, the doors we had, and we didn't him. And that's, we had a sort of an agreement. It was okay.
I was going to say, how was it divided up back then, John? Because not everywhere had door staff anyway.
No, but like Black Maggie had a place, and they all had the pub watch. That's what it was called. So if they couldn't afford a doorman, they'd ring me up, and then we'd send a team over. There a kid worked with us. He was the second hardest man in Welford Road. He was Paul Sanson. His name was. It was a top kid, and so I'd send him off with a few of the lads, and he'd sort it. Come back, throw him out. But many of the time I say, well, no, we didn't have to do it. Well, we just walk in and go, how do you want it, lads? And they go, oh, fucking hell, go on then, off you go. And so the public that couldn't afford a doorman, they're, like that. Yeah, that's how it happened.
So I take it you start to sort of swiftly move up the ranks then of doorman. You start on the standard, you make a few more connections.
Yeah. And then Jackie Tullen come along, and she had, it was called the airport, next to the hole in the wall, near the Palais.
Right.
Just there with downstairs. She'd done that, and she said, "You come and work with me." I went, "No, I'm all right with Vince." So she offered me that much money. I said to Vince, "She's offered me that." He went, "Take it." He said, "But do me one favour." I said, "What's that?" He said, "Still work for me one night." I says, "Why?" So he says, "Then I've still got your association. And if it kicks off, which it did once, there a guy and the reckon they had Colin Campbell. Remember Colin Campbell, who died? He was my apprentice at Horse Fair. So, nice kid, I know all the family. And what happened? Oh, that's it. Something kicked off, and Vince rings me. He went, "You better come yourself as well." I says, "Why?" He says, "It's heavy." I says, he said, "I think one's got a shooter in the marketplace." So I went, "Oh, okay." So anyway, we've walked up, me, Paul, big Phil Crisp. He's dead now, you're on a motorbike, didn't he? Bang, on the back of a lorry. So we walked up, there were a few of us. I only left two on the door, which were a bit iffy, but I said, if he said he's heavy, he's heavy. And we gone up, and he come out and he went, "That one there in the market standing back, we think he's got a shooter because he's got his hand in." I says, "Okay." So I said to Paul Sampson, "You stay away from us, but they'll be looking round to see who's in the team." I said, "But you put your hand in, even though you ain't got no, keep your hand in." I says, "And you see that gear there? Stand behind him or at the side of him, and just don't look at us, look at him." So of course it worked, lucky enough, because we hadn't got fuck all. But I don't know whether he had. He could have been calling the Charlie, the bluff, you know what I mean? So, and then I went, lads, it's only going to get messy. I says, "You're outnumbered now." So, and then they went, "We'll be back." You always get that. So, it never happened, so we was okay.
Any times it did come on top, John? You're like badly on top.
Oh, yeah, a few times. Yeah, you do. Them that say you've never lost, and you know, I won all mine, a load of bollocks. Load of bollocks. You can, you know. We had a guy come once at the JT's. He stood at they were out of towners, and he were a big fucking unit with a bald head, and he had the biggest fucking chain down there. It went like that, and it was like that. So I said, do us a favour, son, you can come in, but stick that in down your t-shirt. And he went, who the fuck's going to tear off me? So I went, you had a laugh. You heard about this place? Because we had everybody barred.
Yeah.
We'd have them in.
Yeah.
It was known for it.
Yeah. Well, legendary place, JT's.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had a chalkboard with 10 lines on it. And it always got to 7 at the weekend, Friday, Saturday. You know, always. You get to at least 7. Doormen to the dance floor, and we used to go, woo, woo, no shit. We'd walk down, wait up, and that's how it was. What was I going to say? The guy with the chain, yeah. So he didn't put it in. So I said to the lads, I went, £5, I say 15 minutes for it's Doormen to the dance floor. So Johnny Marsh worked with us at the time. A big family, the Marshes, that lived at Ayers Monster. No, they didn't. They were all born and bred at Highfields. There was Ray, John, Paul, Pete, all hard kids. You know what I mean? Weren't to be sniffed at, good and stuck together. So there was John working with us. And anyway, we went down and he was completely knocked out and all the rest were all in bits and covered in blood and the chain were gone. And I went, so where's the chain? I don't know. I went, fuck off. Who's got it? One of the gangs got it because they're all, and I pulled, who did it pull? Could have been Mitchell. Yeah, I can't think of the minute. I don't know. But somebody had the fucking chain. And it went, and then I was going on holiday. So anyway, I says, get that chain back and put it in the fucking safe. I said, there's going to be a scream over that. So anyway, I was on holiday, and they rang me, and they said that the old bill had been down. They asked me where I was, and they said, you're on holiday. And then when I come back, they arrested me, robbery with violence. So I says, why is it robbery with violence? We got one of the lads had rang me. They got the chain back. Once they know I'd been nicked, they didn't want that to happen, so they got it. They know it well. They were going to cut in some money with it. You know what I mean? So that's what happened. And then the chain come back, and I said, get it in the safe. Get her out and get her to put it in. I said, it's in the safe. I said, what do you mean? I said, the chain, I put it in the safe for safekeeping. Safekeeping, and laughed. So they went, so it's there now, yeah? I went, yes. So they got me up, walked me, took me back down home to say, there's the chain. So I went like that, and they went, because they knew, really, that weren't how it was. Yeah. But it was, because they got the chain out of the safe. And that's what it was, so that was it.
What was the relationship like between the police and the doorman?
I'll tell you what the relationship, the copper, an inspector, right, but I can't name him, but he was old school. So he said to me once, he said, we had a council meeting, he said, they want to shut you down. So I says, oh, well, why didn't you then? So he said, because I've got 11 PCs patrolling the whole of Leicester City. He went, when you're open, all the fucking arseholes are in your place. He went, I could put 2 out yours and have the others spread. He went, and he said, I turned around and said to him, if you don't like it, you shut them down, I might as well pack it in, because I can't run the Leicester City with 11 PCs, you know. So that we got on fine with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Got on fine. He don't get me wrong. You couldn't do it wrong as such. But if somebody come moaning at him, they'd feel me. Well, what did you do then? They ain't doing it for nothing.
Yeah.
They threw me out, and they go, "Well, you done something." And then so that was that really. Yeah. Good old-fashioned PC inspector. Good inspector. We were at the door one night, me and Big Nev. Big Nev used to work across the road on his own. And I said to Paul Sampson, I went, what's he doing on his own, that big young kid? He says, they won't pay anybody else. He's on his own. I went, fuck it, that's wrong. I said, there's only one way he's going to end up. So I went over to him, I went, what are you carrying? And he went, bloody blah. So I went, do you want more? She says, can I work with you? I says, you can work with me. I said, but you know when you start? He went, what? I went, now. I says, you go up to him and say, you cunt, you know, I'm paying me fucking bits and I'm on my own, you won't have nobody else. He says, you know, I'm working with him. So he did, and he worked with us for a few years, Big Ned. Nice kid.
What was the most difficult door to work in Leicester, John? JT's?
I'd say so. My Chad sort of wanted it. He'd bought an house and he couldn't manage on the wages, so he started working the door. It's a bad thing. The door ruined my marriage, ruined his marriage. You know, it's too much temptation. You know, from a normal lad, you meet somebody. So I met Ben's daughter, Julie Ogben. I met her, fell in love with her. So that ruined my relationship. And then she had Jay. What's he call himself now? Resin. Strong resin. He does all that latest stuff with the resin with it. Instead of block paving, that block paving's finished now. You know, you would never have that block paving if you had that resin. You want to see it. It lets the water through, so you don't have to have all the draining system like you would with tarmac and block paving, and it don't crack where everything crack, and you don't get no weeds growing up. It's an amazing thing. He's doing really well. I helped him out with a machine. I paid for it. Yep. And set him up, and he ain't looked back. He's doing well. Same as my Adam. He's a project manager. He done that big Junction 21, the Amazon. He was in charge of that. My daughter is in charge of the £18 million extension on Marks and Spencer's at Foss Park. They've all done well because they weren't money cobbled. To me, you ain't got the money. You go and get another job and get 2 jobs. Because my mum had 2 jobs. My mum always had 2 jobs. And the old man would stand on the door when she come home. Where you been? I'm waiting for me dinner. You know what I mean? She had 2. And I used to think, wow. You know what I mean?
Who were the best door? I know it's going to be a difficult question, John, but who were the best doormen you worked with?
I think the Hungarians, because the Hungarians come over in the Second World War, just at the end, and they wanted to come, for some reason, don't ask me why Leicester, but those 7 lads, they come over on the bottom of a train, because they ain't got the fare, so they hung on. And I said, so you made it? He says, yeah. I says, oh, that made me get cold. He says, so how many didn't? He went, loads dropped off, because the frost on their hands and just dropped off. So Mishika, I'd say in his day, Mishika, there were a kid in town called Moose Stanger. Did you know Moose?
No.
Well, he knocked around with Mishika and the Hungarians, so that were a deadly team. Moose didn't stand no shit. And his sister married one of the what you call it, Steve O's from Mount Maricaro. No. Yes, I think it was, yeah. They all come there, Robert, Neville, Mick. Mick were a good photographer, one of the magazines. Can't think what it was called now. No. It's hard anyway. Yeah, they were heavy, and then you got the individuals, you know, like Jim Offord and that. And Ben Ogden, I always remember this one day. Here is another story. See how one goes to another. It was the Kung Fu era with Jim Carradine, was it? Remember? He was a Kung Fu expert. And I stood with Ben on the door one night, and we had a chair that rolled in the door up because it was a summer's night, and they had them things that met the door shut, so we had to have a chair. We stood, and this kid come up, and he went. So Ben went, "What the fuck's up with your face?" And he went, "Oh," you know, and we went, "What?" And he went, "Whoa, whoa," and his legs were going. He'd obviously watched this Jim Carradine throwing shapes, you know what I mean? And he went, all that. And I went, fuck, I looked at Ben, he smiled at me and he went to me. So that's telling me to go round the back of him so the bloke would turn around and look at me. So he turned around the kid and he went, and I went, and he went, and then Ben got his chair and he went, he was still laying on the floor. Honest to God, I've never laughed so much in my fucking. He was laying on the floor like that. He hadn't shut his fingers or his hands. He was just like that. On the way Bennett put this chair over his fucking head. Oh, you fucker, we laughed about that for fun. Every time we put a chair that way, don't put a chair there. Yeah, it was a good lad, Ben. He had Stephen that worked the door, the pub near the station, across the road further down. That one, I can't think what it was called. He worked there. Craig done his doors, cars. He was into cars, Craig was. Julie went over to Australia to live there. I had to sign for Jay to go to leave the country. Didn't want to, but I had to. I thought he'll have a better life over there. And then she got, she married an Australian, had a girl with him, Jamie Lee, and then they all come back over, apart from the Australian bloke. Then she went back again, must have missed it, and because she divorced him, and they were going to chuck her back out, so she married him again, and he stood for it. But Jamie's got a nice, she's got a place in Groovy, a nice hairdressing shop. So they're all done well, all the kids really. Yeah. You know, the way things are nowadays.
And how many years were you on the doors in total then, John? I mean,
oh God, yeah, a lot. I was working, when we first worked at the airport, there was Chris Kray, Ardnott of New Parks, his brother with Tony Frey, and then there was Mark Badham from Thurmaston and up that way. So there was three. Then they left, and then I started having other people. But altogether, you know, it took me 6 years. I bought a bit of land with Mark Badham in Melton, and he built a new house, and I had the old barn conversion, and I built that, but that took me 6 years, but that was pure. I weren't one of them steroid freaks standing there, you know what I mean? And people say, get us a drink, then you wouldn't get nothing out of me. I couldn't wait to go home. You know what I mean? It took me 6 years, but I didn't borrow a shilling off the bank. So when I sold it, I went to, well, I'd met this girl called Angela, and she got gypsy in her family, you know, in generations, granddad and grandma, you know. So anyway, when I had a boy with her, and fucking hell, yeah, because when he goes in Melton, all the gypsy girls fly at him because you can tell he is one. But he isn't one, but he is one. He's obviously inherited the genes. Yeah. But he's spraying now with a kid called Luke. So they do rollers and everything. He went all the way through doing his, you know, I set him up. Well, he borrowed me van, 15 grand transit van, sports. He borrowed it for a week. I've never seen it again. What are you going to do then, Dad? Ruin my job? You know what I mean? But it's your kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
if you can't look after your kids, you know, they go the wrong way. So you keep them, have their own little business, so you don't make them go that way. I can understand why people do it, go the wrong way and all that. If they ain't got the money and they've got a wife and they can't pay the bills, especially nowadays, it's horrendous, the interest rate. I mean, how's our grandkids are going to get houses? And the rent's horrendous, isn't it? I worry to death about them.
Yeah, I think people struggle even to find somewhere to rent, don't they? You know.
Yeah. I mean, and then when you get pictures on the internet, all them houses in Wales, all furnished and all that, and you know, I can understand, you know, the immigrants coming here, because why not? If you're getting free food and free lodging and your telly and the back garden, have you seen them videos in that place in Wales? All the builders are doing it, but they don't like doing it, but they're doing it. It's acreage of flat roofs and all that, you know. And then you got 25% of the war veterans are on the streets.
Yeah.
See, the way I look at it, you look after your own first.
Yeah.
You know, your own people. I mean, all these, you know, there shouldn't be homeless people, in my eyes. If you can do it for all them, then you can do it for your own. I mean, look at the procedure to go into Australia. You can't just go there. You've got to have 30 grand, somebody to sponsor you, and they've got to put 10 grand in, and there's that many rules. So they're going to have nice people, aren't they? You know, but I can understand the people, because if I was in their shoes, I'd want to come somewhere like this and got missus and kids, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So you can understand it, but the solution is not Great Britain, is it? It'd be too small.
Yeah.
We're going to run out, and the hospitals are in crisis now, aren't they? You know, you can't get appointments, and the dentists, NHS, there's no such thing. And some of the kids in some of the villages in Cornwall, they're not going to dentists, not seen a dentist for 6 years.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen to their teeth?
Yeah.
You know, and all things like that.
Yeah. Everything declining.
Yeah. We can't do it, but we're doing it, but we can't carry on doing it.
There's one more question I wanted to ask you, John, before we wrap up this, and this is going to be part one today because we've got a lot of other stories to go at.
I ain't even entered that, have I?
And we've got to talk about the crazy gang days and all the rest of it. But there was something I've been dying to ask you, which is, you know, I look at those old pictures. I remember being young, going in town, your doors, Johnny Strong. Doormen looked like doormen. I mean, you looked the part, you know, and you commanded respect. Yeah. And, you know, I remember when we were young, if we were playing up and somebody says, it brought us back into line, you know, because...
You go slap.
Yeah.
But I'd let you in the following week, because we'd say to you, listen, you can still come in, you know, you can come in now, but if you do it, you know what's going to happen. And you only get 3 goes. Or you say you get 3 goes. I still give him another go. I say you get 3 goes, then you ain't coming in. And then I'll buy you from so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. I'll buy you from the lot. All the pubs, all the clubs. One phone call from me or Marshy or any of the lads.
I was just thinking about it the other day because, you know, I was looking at some of the old pictures of you on the door there, you know, Phil Crisp and all the rest of it, you know, tuxes on, bow ties, you know, looking the part. And then I was running through Leicester early hours of the morning, went out for a run, and, you know, just seemed chaos, you know, just the respect had gone, you know, all round, and, you know, there was just, it just seems so different from when I was
It is different, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, John, that's been a great first hour, but it is...
I can't believe it's an hour.
It's definitely the first hour, and there's going to be more because we're going to get you back in another week or two.
All right.
And we've got plenty more to go at. But I'm going to say for today, John, thanks ever so much for coming down.
Okay.
It's been absolutely brilliant. And we'll have a chat afterwards and we'll get you down for a bit more. So for today, John...
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed.
Okay.